Yay, hello and welcome everybody.
Hi!
I am Uni and I am joined by my good friend Snail, and this is an FPS.
Oh, I'm very excited for this one, you guys.
Yes. For those of you who aren't aware, because we came up with this pretty quickly and announced it fairly shortly beforehand, I will be playing Larry and Snail.
I will be playing DJ Moves, darling!
Um, to set the stage, Larry has recently gotten an invitation to an event. He wasn't going to go, but Shorts Kids wants to, so he'll go as a chaperone, which means he needs to find a thing to wear. He rummaged around the costume department for a little while before, you know, finding something that looked okay and putting it on to see if it worked. So he's wearing that.
And I presume that this is where Moves walks in.
I would think so.
All right, so Moves has business in the costume department because while he was preparing for one of his shows, he found that this actress hadn't yet gotten that prop, and there was something wrong with the dress that they were wearing. And yeah, they're a little bit of a demanding actress, but actresses, sometimes it happens. So they're coming in, and uh, they call it Thalia, you're not wearing that. No, 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 no. Thalia, it's become an emergency. A
Larry
fashion
looks
emergency.
he looks down and goes, I am wearing it though.
Well, you shouldn't be. Let me tell you. Uni, can you please tell me this hideous thing that Larry has decided to try on?
Um I think the best way to describe it would be a jout fit. It is pure denim. It is his normal outfit, but entirely made of denim. And
No, 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 no. I don't know what occasion you're going for, but even if it was some sort of jeans festival, we could find something better than that, my dear. No, 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 no. We can fix this. Thalia, it's a fashion emergency. He's like gone over to the counter and started dinging a bell on the counter. Uh, and and he seems very distressed. He is not okay with what you're wearing.
Larry he's just sort of watching moves. He's a little bit perplexed, honestly, because he looks down and goes, I don't I mean, it matches, right? That's an important thing with clothes. I made sure to pick stuff that matches.
Moves like presses his slippers together and puts them to his beak, and he's like, oh, I thought you were kidding, but you're actually trying. Oh no, oh darling, darling, would you like some help? Because matching I see what you mean with the matching. That's a valiant attempt. It's he seems physically pained. He's trying to be encouraging, but every time he looks at the outfit, he literally winces. And he's like, I can we can do something. I can teach you some things, and you'll look great for whatever gene convention you're going to, but just please don't go in that. Please, not in
Mm,
my studio.
Larry is just like, oh, no, you don't. I'll just put on my normal outfit if this doesn't work. It's fine.
No, 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 but you're experimenting. Experimenting is so good. Just not that one. We can find you something better, is what I mean, darling. Darling, please, please. And he's like pleading with you now. Like his hands, which were before touching his beak, are now just like beseeching you. Please, darling, just listen, listen. 1 hour. 1 hour, and as soon as that's done, you can pick whatever you want. You can continue. I can't believe I'm saying this. If it makes you most happy, you could wear this in public. If you just give me 1 hour to give you some tips and tricks and get Thalia in here, 1 hour
Oh,
for old
um, Larry does not answer immediately.
Moves is going to roll persuasion because he's desperate. He's so desperate. You don't understand.
Oh, damn. Okay, that's a
That's a
pretty
29 because Moves has a plus 10, so I got a 19 plus 10.
pretty good. So Larry finally goes, "Oh, okay, 1 hour, sure."
1 hour. Don't worry. I will set a timer, and I'm gonna roll hammer space real quick so that he can literally pull out a timer. He rolls it. He literally pulls out a timer and cranks it and puts it on the ground to start it and says, and with this accidental warble of his voice, finally DJ Moves steps out of the curtains, but no, 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 no. When Larry looks back, DJ Moves is still there, but it's definitely DJ Moves who stepped out of the curtains. And DJ Moves goes, "Oh, oh, aren't you a laugh, Nelia? All right, come on, come on, it's an emergency. Do you see this?" And Moves is like, "Doll, oh, I thought you weren't that serious," and slowly shifts. Uh, the clothes continue fitting them as the person underneath them shifts, and slowly they become taller. They lose some of their plumpness, although they seem to still have some meat on their bones. And you see that Felia is a changeling. Um, and from Moves's reaction, it's pretty clear they pulled this gag pretty often. Whether or not they do it with the engineer, you have no clue. But Moves isn't perturbed in the slightest that they've done this, and they're like, "Oh, darling, well, stars and garters. Let's get you some better garters at least." Um, hello, my name's Thalia. I don't think we've met.
Hi, I'm Larry.
Larry, a wonderful name. They shake your hand, and like their grip is not too tight, but it's not like the loosest thing you've ever just felt. And they're like, well, let me let's fix this, shall we? Yes. Yes, please. I'm going to take psychic damage if I look at it too much longer. Although if after an hour I did promise until he's like, shh, 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 shh. All right. Let's see. How do we want to do this? I'm going to need to measure you. Is that all right? Or do you want to go more experimental and just try things out? What are you looking for?
Um, I as long as it covers all of me, it's fine.
A
Um,
full body covering. Yes, okay, I can work with that. We have several people who have different religions that require full body covering. That will be no problem, dearie. Don't you worry. What event are you going to that inspired you to wear that?
um, party.
A party! Oh, Moose, why didn't you tell me there was going to be a party? Moose is like, no, 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 there's not going to be a party. Um, is so? Did you get invited to something outside of the studio?
Uh, yeah, I mean, engineer, I guess, is the one who got invite, but he's swamped, so I'm
And
taking it.
they exchange a look like, yeah, we know he's swamped.
He goes, I'm not really going to like be part. I don't really do parties, but Shorty wanted to go, and you know how Shorty is,
Oh,
so
that's right. Oh, engineer brought her in just a little bit ago. It was like 1 or 2 days ago. Trust me. So it's a semi-formal sort of party rather than like a combat formal or an extra formal or a not so formal or an informal, or you get the feeling that Thelia actually could list like 12 other variations of party before Moves like taps her. It's like, chill, calm down just a little bit. He's new here. This is probably his first time. And she's like, oh yes, sorry. Um, so semi-formal, yes, and full body covering, right? Am I getting that right?
Larry stares at them for a moment and goes, I know I have to wear clothes there. That's about my understanding.
Right. Okay. Are you willing to let me measure you? And they like pull out a tape measure and like, you don't even have to get out of your clothes if you don't want. I'll just have to like squeeze you in a little bit. Like sort of press against your clothes so that the bulk, because like your jacket is and Thelia like remembers that this is not the normal set of clothing. This is a joutfit, and they're like, I mean, actually, if I measured it, I can probably just account for how thick the jacket is and so forth. But like measuring, okay? Yes, no?
Larry glances back and forth between them. He goes, I can fit in pretty much whatever, so I don't know if you need to.
Oh, Moves, you didn't tell me you brought me a treat. Fit into anything. Well, stars, dear, you must come with me. Let's get you some garters like you wouldn't believe. And Thelia starts gently pulling Larry along. Does Larry contest this, or does he resign himself to his hour-long fate?
He's already agreed to it. He's just in the mode of, all right, I'll get this over with, and let's them drag him along by the hand.
All right. So the way that this is gonna sort of go is Uni and I sort of collaborated initially on what sort of things are gonna come out of the dressing room. So I think if I can drop the image so that everyone can see what we're dealing with, I will then also describe it in case somebody can't access the screen, and to convey what kind of things Larry is wearing. And eventually, and after that, we can sort of get into a dialogue of how Moves reacts, how Thelia helps Larry with the fitting and so forth. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that generally what's going to be happening is at first Thalia will be sort of leading Larry through the various racks of costumes, and both of them will be grabbing stuff up, and then he will very much be like, I'm gonna go into this room to change. You just wait here. Thanks. Um there is a theme with the things Larry's been pulling off, but I think we'll get to that later. um
Yes. Um, and if that's the case, Thelia is probably going to pick 1 or 2 things. So actually, if you want, you could probably post your links, and I'll real quick scrounge up some of mine for
sure.
when we get to that stage. But first, Thelia is just going to be nattering on the way.
Okay.
Sorry.
Pull
Let's try
up.
that sentence again. Thelia is going to be nattering on the way that, like, someone you don't really know, but who's very comfortable with people who don't really know you, um, it talks, and they're like, "All right, with your measurements, although you don't really care about your measurements. Oh, Musha told me he was bringing in such a treat. I can't even believe this. Now let's see if you were to put on something like this. Let's see." And they pull out like a big, uh, almost looks like a bed sheet, but it's very clearly not because it's got intricate details like around the borders, and they're like, "This is just, oh, it's wonderful. It's a one cloth masterpiece because if you style it this way," and they spin and they now have it so that it's draped covering their whole body. One of their shoulders and their head is exposed, but it's got like a long drape across one arm. You can do practically anything with it. If you do it like this and they spin around, and this time they've somehow made it look almost like a jumpsuit. It's like tucked under their legs and like folded into a belt, and somehow also made like sleeveless shirt or like this, and they go on for a couple more rounds. They're like, you can just do anything with this. We've got to bring this along, darling. I'll show you many different ways to style this. Oh, and let's see. Oh, and we must try a suit. I'm sorry, it's a requirement. We must try one suit. Would you like to try more suits, or is it just the one that I insist on?
I'm down for whatever. Like they have barely gotten started. He's clearly immediately overwhelmed.
All right, darling. And they sort of like stop and take a look, and they see that they've intimidated him. Like, well, I tell you what. Since I've already made two decisions, why don't you pick one thing that you want to try that looks good to you, that speaks to your soul? um right now I brought you to a section that is entirely things that we pull in for when we have people who require full covering. There's some vampires that work with the studio, and we want to make sure that they don't get burned. And other things too, of course. So just pick one thing that calls out to you, and we'll after you've tried it on, we'll talk about what spoke to you about it. What did you like about it? How's that? Just one.
All right. He looks around, he paces up and down a little bit. Make it an insight check, I guess.
I should have made a stat block for them.
You could just like use moves as stats. I don't know.
Yeah, that's probably close enough until they somehow become an established enough character that
Okay.
they need something. They've got a 17.
With the 17, they can figure out Larry's trying to like look like he's thinking about it by walking back and forth, but mostly he's like, "Oh boy, what did I agree to?" Finally, he just sort of picks something out. It's something sort of large and puffy. He goes, "I'll go try this on." Okay, where's the changing room?
Just over here, darling, and I'll help you with the sari styling. So all you have to worry about is your outfit and one classic suit. Don't worry. Everybody looks good in the classic suit. Um and they
Okay.
hand off the suit and let him into the changing room, and they sort of like knock on a false panel, and moves like crawls into the adjoining room from all of the outfits and the dressing room, and he's like, we really ought to make that entrance a little bit taller and maybe not underneath all of the clothing racks. And uh she's like, oh, no, 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 don't even worry about it. It's part of the fun, darling. Where else will I get my fun?
um And after a second, Larry comes out, and reason the thing he picked off looks kind of weird is because you realize this isn't you're not you're it's not clothes. Larry is wearing a sleeping bag. Or something very similar to one.
Selma goes, oh, I love this one. You see, it's an insulated outfit. So it covers your head right up into your face, and then it's got the puffiness of like winter that evokes just such wonderful feelings, and it's got the little armholes just at the front, and like those are still insulated, of course, but they're a little bit thinner, and of course it widens down. It's quite like one of those Daleks from Star Lord Trek Doctor, one of those. It was one of those, darling. I don't remember names. But it of course drapes down quite pyramid like. and Moves is sort of staring at it, and he's like, interesting. It's yes, that's a style. What did we use this for? Oh, well, there was this one vampire who, like, some vampires have more or less allergic to sunness. It all depends on the gag for some, but this vampire was like an albino before he was transferred into vampirism. So he was like particularly sensitive to the sun. So we wanted to make sure that we could like regulate his temperature and not have to worry about any of the stuff. Um, it was actually a horror movie that we did. So um, it really fit with like the monster theme. Um, you see this coming out at you, and you're like, ah, and and that's probably not best for a party. And Moves is like, it's distinctive. I like the distinctiveness. And it really exaggerates your height. What do you like about it, Larry?
Larry looks down at it, sort of rustles it back and forth a little bit, goes, was easy to put on.
Easy to put on. And both of them are just like sort of squinting at you. Moves has not made the inside check, but Thelma is, and she's trying not to show that she's onto your bullshit, but she's onto your bullshit. And she's like, well, I tell you what, try a nice suit and then we'll go into some dresses that are still able to fully cover. I think you'll really like dresses because those are also easy to put on.
All right. Um, he sort of awkwardly like wobbles back into the dressing room with the thing
Yes,
still on.
you're
You
gonna
hear
have to
it,
shuffle. You're gonna have to shuffle for that one, dear. Just shoot, 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 shoot,
you
like a
you
paper.
hear the like vinyl rustling all the way back in.
All right, and Toba's like, all right, now I've given him just a nice suit, and I made sure that it's not one of the intimidating ones that's hard to put on. No cummerbund. It's just the nice shirt, and then the pants, and then the vest, and then the jacket. It's very simple. He shouldn't be flapped by this. He shouldn't be intimidated by it. And Larry comes out in again a pretty simple suit. He's got a white collar shirt on. He's got a tie which has some nice diagonal stripes. It's has the option to be buttoned in the middle. I don't know if he's taken that option, but there's one button because this is Toonkind, so obviously everything's simplified. Um, he's got the slacks with like the vertical line along it and the nice shiny shoes. And I assume he's still got his hands bandaged. What has he done with his head?
He has probably actually like either taken the one dun cloth or just like a spare scrap and sort of wrapped it around as a sort of scarf head covering thing. Um,
Oh, that's very clever. Look at you. Oh, Moves, you didn't tell me you brought a gift and a clever one to boot. Oh, and look at this. You see, it's nicely fitted to you. See, the nice thing that we can do is we can imbue these outfits with magic. So we made sure that it always complements the person. So you see, the arms sort of exaggerate the length of your shoulders, which sort of takes attention away from how tall you are. Not that being tall is bad. Wow, I got my words all confused up. Not that being tall is bad, but it's sort of visually appealing to have a balance of sort. Does that make sense?
yes.
So, what we want to do when we're working with styles, even if you can fit into anything, is we still want to sort of bring out your own personness into them. So that's why I sort of started with whatever tickled your fancy and then moved to a classic suit so that you could sort of feel the two ends of the spectrum. We want to make something that makes you feel good as you wear it, while also allowing people into that person who is Larry. It'll be expressed in the outfit that you choose.
Um, so, can I just put my hoodie back on?
Oh, no, no, no. We still have an hour, my dear. Well, less than an hour, but we still have much more time. Don't worry. And she knows that that was a plea rather than a worry, but she definitely phrased it intentionally as a don't worry.
Okay, great.
And she's sort of like, well, I do love the suit. Moose, what do you think of the suit? And Moose says, well, I a suit is always classic, but darling, you don't seem very comfortable in it. I don't think that I think we can find something better than just the classic. We can find something that will make him more comfortable, right? You like your hoodie, right? Let's see if we can bring in elements of that. Does that make sense?
Sure, yeah. Um,
All right, Thelma says, all right, I'm going to need to get something from the back, but while I'm in there, why don't you go ahead and actually try on something else that sparks your fancy? I want to see all of the different things that make you think, oh, I want to try that on. So while I'm in the back, you go ahead and you try something on to your heart's content, and I'll let Moves talk you through this next one. All right?
cool.
Awesome. And she disappears into the racks. Um, Larry, as you look around, what tickles your fancy?
Larry is increasingly like he was at least putting on a thin veneer of being like, "Oh, yes, this looks okay." Now he's just like, "There are so many clothes here. Oh my God." um and so he sort of shuffles down one of the aisles and sort of picks at a few things, and he glances at Moves and he goes, is, is this something that your side of the studio has to do a lot?
Well, yes, but it sort of depends on what movie we're doing. Sometimes, well, okay, let me actually be fair. Yes, true. My side of the studio does tend to use this dressing room much more because the engineer just uses a lot of Western themes, and that's about it. Not to ding NG, he's very good at what he does. I'm a big enough bird that I can admit that, but we do tend to vary things up, especially by blending our genres and blending our outfits within that genre, if you understand what I'm meaning.
Uh-huh. Um, I'm sorry.
Moves
I
Moves actually gets up and starts waddling over to you as you speak again.
sorry. I know I'm not good at this, so uh you were probably hoping this would be, I don't know, fun.
Well, what do you mean? What do you mean you're not good at this?
I wear clothes so that I'm wearing clothes. I don't You guys keep using all these things to describe clothes, and I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, oh dear, we sort of started throwing jargon at you, didn't we? Terribly sorry about that. So, so you like to wear clothes that feel comfortable to you, right?
Yeah, I guess.
So we sort of view, well, first of all, we don't wear clothes to make ourselves uncomfortable. Sometimes dressing up is like sort of a fun thing for us, but we don't try to make clothes that are uncomfortable, but we use the ideas of like evoking back to thoughts, and you know what it's like. You don't know how this penguin made that snapping noise, but he's now looking at you intently, and he's pushed up his glasses so that you can see his eyes, and he's like, "You know what it's like, Larry? It's like music. When you compose a piece, sometimes you start with like an idea, right?
Yeah.
And that idea sort of comes from you. It's not just the idea, although sometimes it can feel like it, but it's also a form of expression, right?
Uh, sure. He's sort of been kind of awkwardly sort of turned away from moves as he's sort of fumbling through this, but for the first time he is actually um looking at moves properly, and it's like, sure, that kind of makes sense, I guess.
So when we sort of say like clothes, we're seeking to find clothes that express you, it doesn't even have to be like your truest innermost self. I mean, if you think about it, when you're composing music for like a character in a musical or some sort, um the trueness you're expressing is not the truest part of yourself. It's a character. It's a part that somebody will act. So if you want, you could even wear something that isn't necessarily your style, but it's an expression of something within you that you want to express. So if you wanted to go back to the suit and the second time you put it on you felt really comfortable with it, you would be sort of expressing that you really like the classics and that you feel comfortable presenting masculinely. Does that make sense?
Kind no.
Okay.
He's like
Okay.
he's trying to get there, but he's 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 at least more engaged with the conversation, but he's still kind of lost.
Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you for your patience of letting me ramble while I figure out how to get both of us to my point rather than just me. Um, Terribly sorry I sort of ambushed you at first. I get really excited about this stuff, but that doesn't mean that I should intimidate you. Let me see. So what are you hoping to do at the party? Are you hoping to be able to move around a lot? Do you want something that you can lounge in? What are sort of the pull points? What makes you feel comfortable when you are around people?
Larry stares at DJ Moves like, oh, you don't know me that well.
I need you to know DJ Moves is looking expectantly with a smile on his face, like, yeah, DJ Moves, you nailed it. Good job.
um, After a long moment, Larry goes, I just, um, I don't really plan on being all that noticed. I'm just there to look after the kid. So
Something subtle that you'll be able to look after a child with. You see, that's the very same thing that you said, but in words that describe it a little bit more. Does that make sense? I'm not trying to throw jargon at you. I'm just trying to make sure I understand specifically what you're looking for. That's why I start using those bigger words.
yeah, sure, okay.
Okay. So, um let me ask, are you comfortable in skirts? I noticed that you put on that um thing which, trust me, it was wonderful on the vampire. You don't understand. You both just had extremely different vibes. And listen, if you went full on into that suit with the intention of just excitement and like, yes, I love this, I love how it makes me feel, you would make it work too. You just seemed a little um you just seemed like you put it on because it only took a second to put on is all.
Yeah, that's fair. Um,
So you're not looking to be the one noticed, and I assume since you'll be running after Shorts Kid and well, he nudges you at the side very gently, like we both know what Shorts Kid is like. Um, I just want to get a gauge. Are you comfortable with dresses, or are you gonna be leaning towards more pants? Because even that
um,
is a pretty important distinction.
I'm not against skirts, but they've got to be long.
Floor length, right?
Yeah.
I had a feeling.
Pants might be a little easier, but yeah, I'm not against the flowy whatever stuff either.
Well, let me reassure you on one thing. Uh, my dear seamstress and we love this stuff. So you don't have to worry about making things easy for us. We have to worry about not scaring you off like we almost did at the beginning there. Um so if you think of something that you would really like but it seems like it might be a bit of a hassle to get or understand, don't even worry about it. We'll figure it out. And as Moves says this, Stars, I have to remember what her name is. I said it so perfectly, and then I've forgotten it.
But Thalia?
Yes, Thelia! Thank you. Um, bless Uni and bless everybody in chat who remembers better than I do. I can't believe I forgot. So Thalia comes back and says, I found something wonderful. You're not going, oh, look at you. You're both all cozy up. How fun. All right. Larry, have you picked something else that you would like to try? And both of you now remember that, oops, you also were supposed to be uh, finding something for Larry to try.
Larry very quickly hold on. I am actually going to roll a thing. Oh, that's a nat 20 on sleight of hand as he very quickly just grabs another thing off the rack.
I'm gonna say that Moves winks as he lowers his glasses, but the side effect of him winking is you do get a shine on your side. You have bardic inspiration now purely because Moves is like, yeah, I getcha.
Thanks, Moves.
So as Larry goes back into the dressing room, she's like, oh, trust me, he's gonna love the thing that I've set out, and if he doesn't love it, then I'll just know something more about his styles. But honestly, if you don't love it, you're allowed to not love it, but you really should love it. Do you get what I'm saying? And Moves is like, well, come over here. I've got a little more information for you. And they sort of whisper as Larry puts on whatever it is he pulled off the rack last moment.
Great. It's a little bit awkward and he you can hear him fumbling as he has to figure out again a head covering scenario before he finally peeks peeks out and he is wearing one of those like gardening hats with the long drape over the neck. um and he goes, well, this looked better on the rack.
Oh, that happens, darling. Don't worry. Come show
um
us. Come show us. We're all friends here.
all right, I'll just say I thought it had arms when I picked it. And he has grabbed another interesting one piece, entirely plaid, from neck to foot. Um, and as he indicated, there are no holes for his arms. They are. It's just kind of a straight shot. This one does have pants built in. The legs are separated, so that's some limbs he can still have. But yeah, he's like, well, I'm not a pyramid anymore.
And I assume he's like using one of his hands to hold tight the collar hole, because there is like one of those sweaters that went around, one of those meme sweaters. There is like a collar, like there's a collar and then there's like a hole which is
Yeah,
intended
the
to show like
little
your collarbone.
the
I
little
assume he's holding
keyhole.
that tight closed.
Yeah, they can't all they can see is that there is something from the inside pinching that tight. Yes,
Thalia,
it is plaid Fresno Nightcrawler.
yeah, pretty much exactly. Uh, Thalia sort of claps her hands and she's like, "Oh, you know something? Aside from the movie that we've used that in, nobody has tried on that outfit. I'm very pleased, Larry. The hat is, well, it's interesting, but I don't hate it. You know, Moves, I wouldn't have believed it, but I genuinely don't hate it. Like you managed to grab one of the red hats, and it like actually works. It actually works with the plaid, and I like the fact that you did use multiple colors, but you also brought in the white of your mask. That was very good. You're already doing better, and we've only put on 3 outfits. Oh, he's a peach, isn't he? And I'm gonna mention that Moves has been trying so hard to smother his laughs into his hand because he's fully aware that Larry just grabbed this. And he just nods. He's trying so hard. And Thalia goes, "Oh, and especially if you thought that there were arms. Listen, even if you didn't think there were arms, this is one of my personal favorites. You know, sometimes because nobody else wears it, I just put it on and I just walk around, and it's like I can't even sew, but it's just fun. That's what fashion is. It's just supposed to be fun. People sometimes put so much weight into it. It's like, no, it's fun."
Yeah, this is fun. Um, I'm gonna try on the thing you brought back, okay?
All right. Listen, sometimes part of fun is understanding that trying on a specific outfit that you thought would be fun isn't fun. I get that a lot when I'm working with people who are in larger sizes and they're so excited because they come here and like I can modify anything instantly. If you like this, but you would prefer it had arms, I can modify that for you. If you don't like it at all, sometimes it happens. It happens to the best eye among us for fashion. So you go on back there, you give yourself time to think about if you want that, but with arms. But in the meantime, I want you to try this on, and it has a muff so that you don't have to worry about covering your head with a little hat like that. Which again, I don't hate. I'm astonished that I don't hate it, but I don't hate it. But you can wear this instead. And she drapes something brown into his arms and gives him a tiny shove into the dressing room.
Okay. Larry casts one last glance at Moves as a sort of quiet plea before vanishing back in.
Moves gives a thumbs up, and then the thumb retreats back into his nubbin, and it's like it was never there. And Larry comes out in what seems to be sort of inspired by Japanese fashion. It's a long trench coat, but without like sometimes trench coats have really pointy out collars, and this one again, it sort of looks like it's been inspired by a kimono with its collar. Um, it also has underneath the trench coat a white but floofy shirt that like covers up to the hands. There's a white belt that's high waisted, and it's got some pretty chunky boots. And the workaround for the head that Thalia mentioned is it's got a, I will mention, faux fur muff that goes around his head, and again a faux tail that drapes off to the side, and Theo like claps. She's like, "This one's one of my personal favorites. Don't tell anybody. I'm not supposed to have favorites, but this is one of my favorites." Larry, how do you feel? Do you like it? You don't have to like it, but if you do like it, I like it.
Larry looks over it. He sort of fiddles with the long sleeves a bit, and after a moment he goes, it feels closer, I think. Um,
Closer is good. Closer is what we want to hear.
okay. Uh,
Come over here. Come over here. Let me adjust it a little for you. Don't worry, I won't be getting invasive or anything. I just sometimes it's hard to put these on and like know the exact size. So let me just and she starts like straightening edges and like pulling things down. I do want to mention she's actually pretty careful to not like go seeking skin, which might not be usual when Larry has to have like outfits adjusted, but she's gotten the sense that he's not comfortable with that and is outright avoiding doing that. She's only adjusting the outer bits.
well, that is appreciated. He's at first he does sort of like shrink away from her touch, but once it becomes clear that she is being careful in that regard, he lets her do her fiddling. After a moment, he goes, yeah, the coat is all right. Um,
You
some,
like the coat. That's good to know. The boots. How do you feel about the boots? Some people are pro boots, some people are anti boots, some people are like I'm a butch. Of course I wear boots. It's practically in the name. How do you feel about it?
he looks at them. He goes, well, and he sort of like balances on one foot while he extends it out. He goes, I'm okay with boots. Feel like I'm already pretty tall. I don't need the platform or anything. Uh, but
Fair enough. If it doesn't call out to you, then we'll just discard any boots that have platforms. Some people like having that exaggeration, but there's no need for that if you don't like it. Um Now, Moves mentioned that you actually do have some idea of the things you'd like to do. You don't really want to be the center of attention, but, well, as I mentioned, I met Shorts Kid earlier, and he said that you were her chaperone. So, you want something that you're going to be able to move around in. Is that right? Have I gotten the right vibe, or did Moves lie to me? I can't believe you would lie to me, but he might. He might.
Moves, why would you lie to them?
And Moves bursts out laughing. I'm like, Moves was not expecting this. Moves got tears in his eyes. Moves is busting a gut. And Thalia just looks pleased as a peach. They are so happy. They've broken the code. They've made the quiet boy laugh. They've made the quiet boy crack a joke. Oh, oh, Thalia's walking on sunshine, and Moves is literally rolling on the floor before getting up and saying, well, you know what they say. Sometimes I like to trick the engineer, I guess. Oh, and you didn't tell me that you were funny, but in the quiet way. Oh, I could have used the warning. Oh,
No, I'm as straight laced as they come. Sorry about that.
no, 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 don't apologize for anything. And both of them sort of converge on you just a little bit. Moves does back off, but they're both like, never apologize for making a joke. Listen, that can do horrible things to your self-confidence. It was funny. We loved it. Don't worry about it.
All right. Um, and he fiddles again with the sleeves, and he's like, "Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna be in charge of looking after the kiddo. So,
All right, so you're comfortable with dresses, but they need to be floor length. Thelma, uh, Thalia immediately reverts back into work mode, even as Moves is still sort of snickering on the side because because you got him really good. That was hilarious. And Thalia's like, you want to have something that you can move around with. You want to act something, have something more subtle. Do you? And Thalia sort of stops and looks at you and is like, would you like to wear maybe all black? That I think could work with you. Like that would make your mask really pop. And we could even bring some grays in. And I know some people are like all black is bad, but it's really a look.
uh, yeah, I'm okay with black. Um, he thinks about it for a minute and sort of fiddles again with the muff, and he's like, "Do you? Uh, is there anything with just like a hood or something? Because I feel like that we've sort of been, I don't know, going an extra through an extra hoop just to deal with this."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And Thalia sort of thinks and she says, do me a favor. Let's try one outfit that specifically has a headscarf. And then after that, I will exclusively look for things that have hoods. How does that sound? Because I really think that you could pull off a headscarf with that mask.
Uh, sure, sure. Variety's the spice of fashion.
Yes, it is! Oh, I did not know it was my birthday today with all the gifts you are giving me. Larry, you're a laugh and a half. Um, And Thalia says, all right, I want you to try on one more thing because I think if you don't like the scarf, or even if you do, I think I might actually have the perfect thing. But I do need you to try on one more thing, just anything that doesn't have a particular fashion or a particular headwear is what I meant to say, so that we can try on the headscarf and see if you're comfortable with that. I, once again, will be right back. Moves, just grab something for him, will you? Be a doll. And Philia once again vanishes into the racks, and Moves says, well, darling, whenever Philia gets that look in her eye, nine times, no, not 9 times out of 10, 9 times out of 100, she's right. And she has something that's perfect. So let's have a little fun, shall we? And Moves does the exact same thing that Larry did when he got the plaid monstrosity. Reaches in, pulls out something, doesn't look at it, hands it to Larry, and says, "Try on that and see how you feel about headscarves, would you, darling?"
Larry goes, I've got a real good feeling about this one. And he he like takes it again without even really looking at it.
I know I've worked so hard on making sure this one was the right one, and Moves is ecstatic that Larry has felt safe enough around him to joke. He's touched. And he's like, well, go ahead and try that extensively researched garment of yours. Oh, and you've got to have a matching scarf. So that one's like white, tan, whatever, it doesn't actually matter. And Moves pulls out a sort of beige long scarf and he's like, I'll help you style it if you want. Just go ahead and put it onto a place where you're comfortable too.
Larry goes, well, you are the expert. And he vanishes once more back into the changing room. And he waits for the sound of Thalia's return.
All right, Moves, I need you to sit on this because not only is this able to withstand pretty much anything, but I cannot let Larry see this until he's finished his thing because it is perfect. Oh, Moves, darling, I found the thing, but he can't see it. You understand? You need to sit on this. And Moves like, yes, yes, all right. She's like, no, 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 you don't understand. Right under your butt. There we go. Sit on it. Sit, sit, sit. Larry, dear, we're ready for you.
I wonder if you are.
Well,
And
of course I am. You can't surprise me much now.
Larry shuffles out. This time he has indeed put on a dress. It is something. It kind of looks like a giant tan shiny slinky in dress form.
It's like the rings of a tree trunk, except you're not viewing them from the top. You're like, but it's. I don't know how to describe it. Slinky material is probably pretty good, actually. Like it's horizontal stripes, very very thin, in sort of a tree trunk ring unevenness. Like it's mostly straight, but it's kind of squiggly. There's tans in there's beiges in there's some red browns, there's some lighter colors in there. It's something.
It is something. And Larry, as Larry goes out, he goes, "Check it out. It's got pockets."
It does have pockets. And then Thalia looks at Moves like, how dare you? And Moves just bursts a cut again because Thalia thinks that Larry was done with this. Larry was trying to skip out on this stuff, but Moves know that this was a joke between the two of them. He is rolling, as in literally on the floor. He is rolling around because he's so rotund. Thalia's like, well, it's very nice, dear, and yes, it does have pockets. Listen, I'm gonna tell you a secret. Every single dress under this roof has pockets if I'm the one who is control of them. Because, like, sometimes people come in and their dresses don't have pockets. I literally can smell it out. And I literally go, would you like me to make sure your dress have pockets? Because that's just a pet peeve of mine. I literally smell it and I can't stand it. But it sort of seems like you've stopped being serious about this. And that's sort of disappointing to me, you see, because I actually found something that's wonderful. And Moose goes, no, stop, stop. You can't blame him. It was my fault. And Moose like slowly gets up and his arms do the cartoony jiggly thing because he's been laughing so hard. And he's like, I'm so sorry. Larry just needed a little tension relief, so I just grabbed something off the shelf. It's my fault, not his. Don't blame the boy. Oh, oh, Larry, you and I must have coffee sometime. Talk about making music and so forth. Because if you're this much fun out of your element, I can't wait to hear what you're like in it. Oh, all right. Headscarf. Yes, no. How do you feel about the serious part of this outfit? And Moves, tries to stop the giggles from starting again, but they are quietly still happening.
Larry goes, "The scarf is fine. Um, he actually, like, before, his pauses have just been born of awkwardness and not really knowing what's going on. Um, and this time around, he is, at least, you could tell he is trying to actually find the right words rather than just feeling awkward. He goes, the the scarf is good. It feels a little less reliable than the hoods that I like, but it's okay. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes
Yes,
sense.
yes, I understand exactly what you mean. First of all, we can find ways to secure headscarves if you ever come back again. But for now, forget it. I have something perfect for you. You won't need it. Moves, dear, you can get you up and stood up, so you ruined my surprise. So, um, Thalia scoots on over and brings over the bundle. And it's black as far as you can see. And she's like, "All right, I need you to make a promise. I need you to promise me you won't look at the stuff you're putting on until it's all together." And the reason that you're going to be able to do this is it's got multiple things you've got to put on, but I've literally numbered them. So don't look at yourself in the mirror that's in the dressing room until you put all of them on. Can you promise me this? Otherwise, I can't give it to you. I'll have to find something else. And she's like holding it back theatrically. "I can't give it to you if you don't promise."
There he goes. You sure you didn't like the last dress?
and and Thalia cracks a grin at this too because okay, that was a little funny. It's just like,
He
yes,
goes,
but this is serious business. Don't you understand? You must promise me. And she's clearly not serious.
all right, if it means that much to you, I promise I will pay
And
attention
immediately
without paying attention.
it's immediately shoved into your hands, and she's like, "Go, go, 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 go!" Oh, Moves, he's gonna love it, and you're going to love it.
Um, Camera cut to inside the the thing where in the inside the safety of the dressing room. Larry has not been, putting on clothes in the way most people do. There is sort of an awkward heap of clothes where he just sort of flumps and lets them all fall down. And now that he knows there's like a numbered order that this has to go in instead of just sort of pushing himself into it, there's a much longer pause as he tries to parse how to do this. But after a minute or two, there's a sort of huh, and he comes out wearing an outfit that looks like this. Whoop. And he goes, "Yeah, it's all right."
It's all right sounds better than it sounds. Well, that's not exactly what I meant. Moves, what do you think about it? And moves again. His glasses have been propped back up because he gets the sense that Larry both is literally nearing time, but also sort of like emotionally nearing time. Doing this sort of outfit conversion is really hard. So he wants Larry to see his reaction at this point, and he's literally starry eyed. Stars are in his eyes, and he's like, "Darling, I sincerely hope you're going to tell me you like it because I love it.
Yeah.
How do you feel?"
Um, it it works. And you can like Larry is not one for saying I love it. It's great. This is definitely the most like the closest to certainty that he's shown. But he is the master of understated reactions. So he's like, yeah, this is pretty all right. Um,
All right,
I could
let me
wear
tell
this.
you three things about this outfit, which is more reasons that you should love it. But don't worry, dear. If you're satisfied, then I'm satisfied. Besides, we're almost out of time. One, I decided to give you a lot of layers because all of the other things that we've tried didn't really have many, and I just started getting the feeling like we were limiting you. There's also more than one color, although it's within the same color range. Because I remember that you were in that outfit earlier, and you were sort of thinking you want to be subtle, but I figured if we could pull in some extra colors so it's not just monotone. And by colors, I mean grayscales, of course. Sorry, sometimes I forget which one means which. Words get confused in my head. Um, but I brought in some grayscales so that we could look at the whole outfit and sort of see things, but also so that we could make your mask come out less harshly because it's a bright white. And like if you were wearing all black and bright white, it just wouldn't blend in as well as if we pulled out this gray and she uh, gently again rubs the outer sleeve of the sort of sweater that you're wearing right now. And she's like, and you can also, if you get new bandages, that will be another pure white that you could pull in just to make the whole outfit come together. And I remembered what you said about the hood, so now you won't even have to worry about figuring out, oh, did I tie this headscarf right? Oh, is this hat going to cover me? You've got your outfit out. You've got your hoodie, which has completely been happy before, so you don't even have to worry about that. And the reason that I decided to make something that's just a little distinctive with like the curvature and like the different layers is it's also going to make it easier for Shorts Kid to find you in a crowd. Because if you're just wearing a suit, although I did bring out a suit at first, if you were just wearing a suit, it might be harder for them to find you than if you're wearing this.
Yeah, that makes sense. Um, again, sort of, he actually does a little thing where swishes the drapery a little bit and goes, "Thank you."
Okay, I have one final test for you, and then I think as soon as you finish this, the bell will literally ding. I need you to do the spin. Do the spin for us, darling. Come along, you can do it. Do the spin.
He um stares for a second and then lifts one foot and then just sort of whoop around on one heel. Like,
Um, both Moves and Thalia are clapping, and they're like, "Oh, and right on time too." And Thalia says, "All right, dear. If you are happy with that, you can feel free to take it. Literally, bring it back after the party whenever. If you love it, just tell me, and I can actually make you a set that's like 100% fitted to you rather than just magically fitted." Um, because I do need to make sure that things that I loan out get back into the racks. I've had a problem with that in the past. There's still some things sort of running around that inevitably I'll have to figure out where they went. But listen, you don't have to worry about getting it back to me right away. As long as it's back within 2 months, you won't be the most egregious offender. Heck, you won't be the 17th most egregious offender. Get it back in a week. Get it back in a month. I know you. I know where you live now. I trust you. And you suddenly realize that it's gotten around the studio that you live in the studio. So as soon as she connected the name Larry uh, to a face, she now does actually know where you live.
and Larry goes, "All right, well, I don't think the party will run that long, so I think I can manage that." Um,
But if you want to just put it on for fun for a couple days, I won't mind. I won't tell. I won't even know. Don't worry about it. And Moves, gets up and like pats Larry and says, Larry, thank you. I know that even an hour sometimes can feel like an eternity, especially when you don't know somebody. And thank you for not making me suffer seeing in the papers you in that joutfit. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Larry gives Moves like an awkward pat, like, "Is he crying? Did I make him cry? Oh God."
And I think that's all I got.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to end it.
All right. So, outfit acquired.
Outfits have. Thank you to the fashion crew for saving the world from the joutfit.
That's also from a horror movie actually. It's an outfit that's sentient and it comes and eats you. The actual outfit is sentient but not, consuming. But there's connotations with that. All right.
Oh,
Thank you, Uni, for being just awesome and letting me last minute go, hey, I know we said it as a joke, but like for real. And
no,
thank you.
I know, Snail, that you are very busy, so I'm very glad we could do this.
Oh, you're the sweetest. Thank you, audience, both for listening and enjoying, and also for helping me remember Thalia's name that one time. I did forget.
And I believe with that, I will end the recording. So thanks for listening. Anyone coming afterwards? Bye.
Bye!